Hi and welcome. We're so glad that you came, guys. My name is Linda Jenkins, and I'd like to thank you for joining me in our free webinar, Roadside Inspections, the Basics. Our free webinar, Roadside Inspections, the Basics. I'm with DOT FMCSA Compliance Specialist. We're located in Fresno, California. Again, my name is Linda Jenkins. Our phone number is 559-319-8464. Now, not only do we offer this webinar, we also have other transportation business courses that are available, and we're bringing on new ones every day. If you have questions or comments, or if you'd like to sign up for our free update subscription, please do so. You can contact me below in the comment section. Or you can email me direct at DOT Compliance Specialist at gmail.com. Now, I'd like to give you a little bit of rundown about what my background is. Overall, running a transportation business is very hard work. Anybody that says otherwise, they're lying to you. It's not just physically hard work, but it's also mentally. It can be very taxing to get through all these rules and regulations and certifications and classifications that we now have to deal with to operate our small business. We are monitored more closely than any other small business organization throughout the United States or industry is as a whole. For me, it was a huge leap from the secured environment of working behind the fence of a nuclear facility to an owner-operator of my own six-figure trucking company. But I did it. I worked hard. I figured out the regulations. I found out how to make these things work. And that's what we're trying to share with you today. When I first started out, there were no courses or no one helping to give out information for me to start on my journey. My husband and I, we were so frustrated. Finally, we had to just take it upon ourselves to learn step by step the procedures and processes to get our business going. We had to become the action takers. We had to learn to delegate the work out in stages until we figured it out. Most of the time it was, oh my goodness, we have a deadline coming, we have a bill coming, we have a compliance issue that we need to meet. And nobody had ever put together any kind of documents like a calendar or anything to keep those reminding for us. And those reminders were necessary because we ran out of our truck. I mean, we had a home base, don't get me wrong, but you know, other than that, 85–90% of the time we were in that truck, and that's where our office was. So as you can imagine, that could be very, very difficult and very, very challenging for us to achieve the goals that we had set. However, we are both a true believer in whatever you believe, you can achieve. If you're willing to take that action, you can grow your business to six figures and more within a year. It can be done, but you've got to have the mentality of somebody who wants to grow their business, make it larger. Okay, what we have done in this presentation and other ones that we have similar to it is we've developed presentations, webinars, if you'd like, to help the new owner-operator or the new drivers avoid the potholes that trap the new owners and the new drivers. Okay, so please contact us today, get added to our subscription list so that we can update you whenever we put out a new presentation that could help you further your business. Now, one of the things that I do need to let you know This roadside inspections webinar is based or geared toward the new driver or the new owner operator. It is not intended to be all inclusive. So you have been in business for many, many years. If so, please keep your comments to the subject matter at hand. Please also, if you have good suggestions, help your fellow driver out. Make the information available in the comment sections. Now, if you do have a question, feel free to ask. You can put them down in the comments. I read all the comments and I will respond back, to any questions as quickly as I can. Just know that, we're here to help each other. We're not here just to, bash other people. Okay? Now, road inspections, when you're on the road, is an expected portion of what you're going to face almost on a daily, if not weekly basis. It's going to happen. The very first inspection I ever had as an owner operator happened the second day I was out on the road. Okay, so you can expect that to occur. Now, the thing with road inspections is if you haven't prepared, you're going to be frustrated. So how are you wanting to go from frustrated to happiness, unsure to confident, scared to self-assured, nervous to composed? How are you going to do that unless you can expect the expected? Roadside inspections are part of the expected when you are a driver. The next thing you have to face is, okay, will I pass that inspection once it occurs? So with this free course that we're offering today, we're going to give you the ability to know what a CSA score is, how it's going to affect you. You're going to know how to be prepared during your road inspections. And if you're in a way station inspection, we're going to let you know when and what to bring with you so that you don't give them more information and them find an error and you get a fine or a violation found in something they weren't even searching for. We're going to show you what the benefits of being prepared are. We're also going to address the Fourth Amendment and how that affects the transportation business. We're going to give you a clear understanding of how to act during a roadside inspection. You're also going to have a clear understanding of how much information is too much. We've already touched on it a bit, but we're going to carry on in more detail later on in this presentation. We're also going to teach you how to become a radical action taker to improve your business and to grow your business in leaps and bounds. You are what you think when it comes to this business. If you think small, you will continue to be small. If you want to grow your business, you have to think like a big business. We're going to teach you some of those ways. We're also going to give you ways that you can impress an inspector at first sight. And we're going to go over and touch some of your responsibilities as a driver in relation to a road inspection or a way station inspection. Now, normally this is a several-day process on this whole presentation, but we've condensed our materials down so that we could give you this one for free. Normally, this entire presentation is a $3.99 value, but we're giving this one for free because, we've condensed the materials to help you out along your way. Okay? With that being said, let's go ahead and look at what does the CSA score mean and the CSA score acts as a report card to standardize the trucking industry. It is maintained and oversaw by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Now, what does your CSA score mean to you as a business? Well, if you have a high CSA score, meaning that you've met all of the compliance and safety issues and that you don't have any violations, some of the things that you can or may expect is that you're given better loads. Those loads are going to pay more for the same mileage, for somebody that is not, but you're going to get a higher rate than what they get. Okay, when you're starting out, it's imperative that you keep that safety score up as high as you can, because you're wanting the most money you can get, because your money is going to be tight. A high CSA score is going to help you accomplish that. You're also going to get past the weigh stations more often. In other words, you'll get a green light so that you can just keep on going. You don't have to pull in. That's part of the pre-pass system. If you maintain that, you might get 85, 95% of the time you're getting to blow past those weigh stations. Every weigh station you get to blow past is an opportunity for them to inspect you, to be negated. The next thing is if you have poor CSA scores, how is that going to help or hinder you, especially with your SAFER score? Your SAFER website score is the scoring system that your brokers use whenever they are booking a load. They look at that, and if you have a poor ranking on your SAFER score, which is part of CSA, once they determine that you've got a poor ranking, number one, you may not get the load. Number two, if you do get the load, it's not going to be at the rate that you would like to have, because they're taking a bigger risk on you. So it's best to work to keep that CSA score, as high as you can. And the preventative measures that you take will pay off. Whatever you do today will pay off within the next 60 days. And that's where they're trying to get you to keep up with your CSA score. Because if you have a bad CSA score, it could be costing you thousands of dollars on every load. Where at the end of the year, you could be making, $210,000 if you have a high CSA score. If you have a poor CSA score, you might only make, 150, 175. I know right now you think that that's a large amount, but you also have big bills. So if you it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And if you have more going out or the same amount going out, but you're not making as much money, then at the end of the year, you've not made as much as somebody else. So just keep that in mind. That CSA score is very, very important. Okay? The next thing is being prepared for your roadside inspections. What do you need? Well, of course, these are just things that might be needed, okay? Your driver's license, your cargo and liability insurance. Also, possibly, if you're doing power loads only, you'll need that trailer interchange insurance. Your medical card, both short and long form. And if you have sleep apnea, you may need the release or the compliance letter that goes along with it. Your ELD records, and also your ELD operational sheet. That's in case they need to know how to use your particular ELD system. Your BOL or BOLs if you have multiple deliveries. Your permits. Now the permits can be a state permit for like Mexico and stuff like that, or I'm sorry, New Mexico. Or it could be like a HUT sticker for New York or Kentucky. Or it can be special weight permits, special length or width permits. All of those permits need to be available. Your IFTA documentation for your quarterly taxes and what you're approved for weight-wise for pulling within one state. your maintenance records for your last inspection. Now, those inspections have to be done on a 90-day and an annual inspections, and those cannot be done by the DOT like at a weigh station. It actually has to be done at a service center. Now, whether that's part of your company or whether you outsource that out, you still have to have the documentation showing that you've had a 90-day inspection and then also your annual inspection. You also need to have your safety training records and your completion of different safety things, similar to like your drug policy. You also need to have, your latest drug screening. Showing that you passed your last drug screen. Another thing might be your passport, your immigration card, your work visa, or even just a normal visa. All of these are things that you might be asked for during any type of safety inspection that you or roadside weigh station safety, all of those inspections, that's things that you may need to be able to have handy just in case. What being prepared gives you? You're going to have fewer inspections if you're prepared, okay? You're going to have a good safety record and a good reputation. You're going to get fewer crashes. You're going to go through the weigh station as a pass-through more often. You're going to have a positive impact on your carrier safety rating, whether that's for you or whether that's for the company you work for. An overall reduced concern, stress level about being inspected. All of that stuff, all of that anxiety with our jobs can be released to a certain extent if you're prepared. Just like that sign says right there, be prepared, not scared. It's up to you to decide that, you're going to do the best that you can do on preparing for the inevitable inspection. If you keep up with your inspections, your maintenance needs, you have a feeling of pride, a feeling of happiness, a security about being able to drive without being pulled over for, any unknown reasons. The road is interesting and it's fun to drive. Who doesn't like having a window seat to the world to be able to drive wherever you want to go? If it's your business, you are the ones dictating to where you're going to go, to a certain aspect. If you want to go down to Florida and have a vacation, you go down to Florida. And if you want to go up to Seattle and say, hey, I want to go up there and see the beautiful redwoods, it's up to you. But if you're scared about to going, through certain weigh stations simply because either you haven't checked your weight, you haven't maintained your maintenance, you haven't, stayed in compliance with your permits, then of course you're going to not do that. You're going to be stressed. You're going to take it out on your wife, your husband, your family, your significant other, whatever, and you're going to be miserable, and there's no need for it. Okay, so that takes care of, being prepared and not being scared. The next thing we're looking at is the Fourth Amendment. Now, if you drive within the first, 30 days of you being out on that road, you're going to hear somebody at some given point in time talk about the Fourth Amendment. Now, the Fourth Amendment, it protects people and businesses to a certain extent. Okay, the thing that they don't protect you with is the fact that most people don't understand that the transportation industry within itself is put into a category of, let me quote this, closely regulated industries. Okay, so closely regulated industry. In other words, they watch everything that we do, and guys, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, because we are in that closely regulated industry, the necessity of a warrant or probable cause in most cases will not be necessary. They can do a search of your vehicle, including dogs, when and where they want. You complaining is not going to help, and it's not going to change the fact if they want to get inside your vehicle, they have every right to do so based on what their feeling or their belief is. It doesn't matter your nationality, your creed, your caste, your skin color. It doesn't matter. If they want, your sex, it doesn't matter. If they want to get in there and do a search, they can do it, and they can do it without a warrant. And the only probable cause is because they want to do it. So just be aware. The Fourth Amendment does not protect you in most cases as a truck driver. Okay? You're not included. I know I'm going to hear flack on that, but that's just the way that it is. That is based off of court rulings. Okay? Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is understanding a roadside or way station inspection. To understand your roadside or way station inspection and what they can and can't do and all of that stuff, I mean, there's a whole lot of rules and regulations to it. The basis is that they have every right to do their job, and their job is to protect the roads and other drivers on the roads and the environment surrounding that road. Once you're pulled over or pulled into a way station and asked to get out, take a moment, take a big deep breath, clear your mind. Get yourself together and get focused on what you need to do. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. They have a job to do. You have a job to do. Your main focus is get me out of here as quick as I can get. Their main focus is this a safe driver? Is this a safe truck? Is it to scale? Is it, is the weights properly balanced on the truck? Is it a secure load? They have a job to do. And until they finish with their job, guess what? You're not leaving. You're going to be there. So your complaining is not going to do any good. Let them do their job until they're finished. Okay? When they need something, they will ask you specifically what they need. Don't give them anything else extra. If, however, they ask you for something that you don't have within your reach, you keep your hands on that wheel, you stay in your seat with that seatbelt on, and you tell him, sir, I'm sorry, I don't have it where I can reach it right here. It's in my shelf or in my cabinet behind me, or it's laying on my bed. I left it back there this morning whenever I came up to drive. Do you mind if I go back there to get it? You wait on him to give you permission to get what it is that you need to get. Don't make any sudden moves. Keep your hands where you're at. And guess what? When you come back from getting whatever it is that you forgot, most likely he may have his hand on that gun. He's not being ugly to you or distrusting to you by him having that gun and that hand on that gun. What he is doing is being prepared to protect himself. Because there's all kinds of people out there. A lot of people have misunderstandings due to a bad day, a misunderstanding, or the language barrier. All kinds of different things can lead up to it. Just remember, your professionalism dictates their professionalism. The more professional you are, the more professional they are. So it's all about being professional. And, that's up to you. You're the one. It doesn't matter if he's screaming at you or whatever. I've had them where they accidentally pulled me over because I was in a group of trucks and there were two red trucks and they pulled my truck over and he climbed up on my door and he had me roll my window down. Of course, I think I already had it down. And he went to screaming at me. And I just sat there and let him do what he needed to do. Scream, 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 scream. And then when he finished, I said, "Sir, I'm sorry. I just got on the interstate. You pulled the wrong truck over." And he was like, "Oh, I did not know all this." And I said, "Sir, please go check your video and match up my numbers because I just pulled on to the interstate. I was still in fourth gear. I wasn't even up to speed yet." When he went back, he reviewed his video. He was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I pulled you over." And he actually gave me a big, compliment on my inspection sheet and sent it in, had me sending in to my office for the company I worked for at that time, telling them how professional I was. That I had every opportunity and I had every right to argue with him, but I kept my mouth shut and let him scream, thinking he was screaming at the right driver. Now, most people probably couldn't have kept their cool. You have to train yourself to think he has a job to do, even if he's mistaken. Let him do what he needs to do and then tell him what the difference is. And then try to come to a professional conclusion. Mine was easily resolved. I just asked him, "Sir, can you please check your video?" And he went back, he checked his video, he came up and he was like, "Ma'am, I am so sorry." Okay? So it's up to you to change a horrible experience into a good experience. And all of that will be done by your professionalism. The next thing that we're going to talk about is what to hand to the officer. When he comes up, now if you're like me, one of the things that I always did is anything that was related to my truck, I kept in a binder. It was a zippered binder. I kept it in the truck beside my seat as a driver. It was a zippered binder and a leather binder, so in case of inclement weather, I didn't have to worry about my documents inside getting wet. Each different page had its own sleeve, so I could pull out the information, whatever that might have been, and give it to the officer immediately. Anything that was related to the actual load that I was running, I kept in a red folder. It had my scale tickets, it had my BOL or BOLs, depending on how many deliveries I had. It had the information for my route, it had the information for who my contacts were, all of that stuff that you generally get, as a driver. All of that information was together in one little packet. All of the information for my truck and my business I had in individual binders, one for the truck and one for my company. Okay, so all of that stuff was readily available. Okay, so when they asked for it, I was able to give them specifically what they were asking for. Just remember, do not just hand them your book if you are like me and you keep everything in there. The reason is if you are thinking that you're being helpful to them and you're giving them that book and it has everything in God's kingdom about what your truck is and when your maintenance program is and all of that, and let's say you did not have, or your 90 days has passed for your next regular normal maintenance inspection, and you haven't had it, or there's no documentation in there, if you can't provide that documentation and he asks for it, guess what? You're in violation of the 90-day rule and you're subject to getting a ticket over it. So be very careful. Don't hand him anything he doesn't ask for. Only give him the information that he asked for. That way you're not asking for trouble. If you encourage foolishness, it's going to continue. He's going to write you a ticket. He don't care. It's not up to him to maintain your truck. It's up to you. And if you're just giving him fodder for the fire, guess what? He's going to build a bonfire. So, don't give him more information than what he needs. Okay? The next thing we're looking at here is how to improve your business. You have a lot of things relating to your business that you need to maintain as an owner of a trucking business. You need a plan and a list of goals. Where you are now, where you want to be in 6 months, where do you want to be in a year, 5 years, whatever. You need to have those goals set. You need to be able to make sure that you're being compliant, that you're meeting all of your compliance issues, like, your permits, your state permits, your weight permits, your size permits, all of those, that you're being in compliance with your drug policy, your drug screening, your maintenance program, your safety program. If you're pulling reefers, that your reefer is being properly maintained according to the USDA guidelines. All of these safety regulations and different regulations and all these compliance issues, the ELDs, all of that stuff. It's a big headache, and all you want to do is pick up a load from here and take it to there. But you want to also have your own company. So you need to think like the big companies. Like I said earlier, if you are wanting to stay small, you need to think small. If you, however, want to grow your business into a mega corporation, you're not going to get there thinking that you're going to be able to do everything yourself. You're either going to have to delegate that work out or outsource that work out so that people can help you meet your goals. Now, I know a lot of people disagree with me on this, and it's just really, it's up to you. You can do all, part, or none of what I'm fixing to tell you. But these are some of the typical things that people either outsource or delegate out to other sources to help them get their company, moving up to that 6 or 7 figure industry. But it's up to you. It's how big do you want to grow? So some of these typical delegated services for new transportation businesses, or even existing ones that want to grow. Some of the things that you want to maybe look into is financial planning, because if you don't plan for your future, no one else will. Factoring. Now, I know that's a thumb sore for a lot of people. They don't like factoring. However, for me, for tax purposes, I really like factoring. And I'll tell you the reason why. Not only did I get paid immediately or almost immediately for every load that I ran, but I also, come tax season, had the ability to not have to wait on those W-2s. You can use your factoring report for the year as your as what you did, similar to like a W-2, but it's your year-end results, as long as you use them for 100% of your factoring. That way you don't have to sit there and wait and wait and wait for these companies to send you your W-4s or W-2s. It depends on how you pull the load. Okay? If you're doing a 1099 and you're having to wait for mom and pops to generate your information for your tax documentation, throughout the year, you may be looking at 300, 400 different companies that you pulled for. You might have 100 or more. If you're an independent carrier, it's really, it's really whatever you've determined on what kind of routes you're taking. So if you're factoring everything, then everything's listed there. They can compare what's on that list to what you have turned in and on your ELD and for your IFTA taxes. They can compare the three and get a pretty good idea that, yeah, this is 100% right. Or no, they're lying. I liked it. It made it a whole lot easier for me to do my taxes. So if you're facing tax issues, try a factoring company. They might be what your answer is. Another thing is your accounting. I had a company that I used that, for all of my accounting issues. And what I mean by that is, my normal bills for my business, my subscriptions, all of my education, similar to this and any education you take from my company, you can take and write that off on your taxes. Well, all I did is I took a picture of the receipt and I submitted that information over to them. They documented it, they categorized it, so at the end of the quarter and the end of the year, I always got my monthly statements, and then at the end of the year, I got a yearly statement that showed all of the categories. All I had to do was hand my accountant, my tax advisor, I handed him my factoring spreadsheet and my accounting spreadsheet. I also handed him my financial planning spreadsheet and my banking statements. And there was some other stuff, but those were my main things. Handed it to him, got my taxes done, and I was in and out just like a regular person. Instead of having to spend, 3 weeks trying to pull everything together from a 1-year event. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you need to talk about. Another thing is your DOT compliance issues. That's where I come in, with the safety regulations and the compliance information, getting you part of a lottery for your drug screens, helping you with your drug policies, helping you with your employee handbooks, helping you with your maintenance program establishment, and then also maintaining it. All of that stuff we do at DOT FMCSA compliance specialists. We can help you out with those issues. Again, our number is 559-319-8464. If we don't answer, leave a voicemail, we'll call you back, or you can email us at dotfmcsa@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to help you out. Remember, you can subscribe for free for a limited time, and we will be able to update you on our new courses that we have available, such as this one that we're doing right now. Another thing that you may want to have outsourced out is an independent dispatcher. Your dispatcher is going to help you find loads. Many times, like I had a direct broker, and then also I worked with individual brokers. Now, for me to work with those individual brokers, they had their rules within their own company that stated that they could not work directly with the driver. So for me to work the right way, I had to work through an independent dispatcher. And I paid him a certain percentage, for the loads that I ran for him. But I was the one that told him, no, I want to go this way, or no, I need to go that way. Like if I wanted to go visit family or friends, or if I wanted to go and have a short vacation, So I told him what area of the country I wanted to go to. He'd get me in that general direction, and I'd be able to go do or visit whatever I wanted to do. So an independent dispatcher is a great outsourcing service to have. The next thing, again, is your direct broker. If you get a direct broker, you're going to get better loads with better pay, especially if you are doing low power load only. Okay, power load only means you own the truck, they own the trailer. If you can get matched up with a direct broker, okay, they'll actually give you better pay. Because where do you find all of the good jobs or the good loads, the good paying loads? I'll tell you right now, they are not on the load boards. So if that's all you're using, then you're not getting the best pay for everything that you need. Okay. Additional services that you're going to have to outsource for are your pre-pass. There's basically two different pre-passes that's out there. One is the blue one, the little square one that you'll see in the windows. That one there will get you past the way stations, but not through all the toll roads. Okay, like the new toll roads, like in Kentucky for the bridges and stuff like that. If you want to be doing something like that, you're going to want the elite pre-pass. That elite pre-pass, again, it gets you into all of the toll bridges and stuff like that that you're going to have to be going back and forth over if you're going through those particular states. It's just a really nice thing to have. If you have 5 or fewer trucks, they actually give you the equipment for free, and all you have to do is pay a certain amount for the expected tolls that you think that you'll have within a monthly basis, and that can be added to or subtracted from whatever your actual needs are. The next one is your ELD compliance company. That's going to be whoever you get your ELD through as an owner for your trucks or truck. You'll have to outsource that out. And again, your fuel cards, Pilot, Loves, TA, Petro, Flying J, Road Ranger. There's so many of them out there. Just pick your favorite fuel card and get signed up for it, because that's going to help you maintain it. Now, if you're using a factoring company, they also have fuel cards there as well in most instances if you have a large enough company that you're working with. Just remember, hiring a service or outsourcing a service such as ours will allow you time to focus on running those loads and taking that weight off of your shoulders. It's basically letting us do the back office stuff for you that most drivers and owner operators get overwhelmed with. We take that headache away from you, okay? We help you reach the goals that you're wanting to reach for your individual company. We sit down, we discuss, we find out where you're wanting to be, and we help get you on that road to that path to the road that you're wanting to take, okay? We can assist you in setting up a system that works best for you and get you the contracts you need to run your business compliant and efficiently, okay? The three main things that's going to impress your inspector at first sight. The first thing is your truck and your trailer. Are they clean or are they dirty? Okay? And having a clean truck is going to get you, not looked at as much. If you have dirty truck, dirty trailer, they're going to say, whoo, they're not keeping up with their truck. They're not keeping up with their trailer. We're going to do an inspection. Okay. Yes, of course, wintertime especially, you get salt on the road, but that's still no excuse. You still need to be washing that truck as often as you need to keep it clean and well maintained. The next thing they look at, like if you're going to a weigh station, is how professional do you look behind that wheel? Do you look like a professional driver, or do you look like somebody that just crawled out of bed, scratched their head, and climbed behind the wheel? And in speaking of your bed, what's your work environment look like? In other words, what's the inside of that cab look like? What does the bed look like? If you have pets, you taking care to make sure that you have your puppy pads down. All of these things are things that they're going to look at first sight to say, okay, we know that this person is or that they are not taking care of their trucks. If they're not taking care of the inside, then what is everything else going to look like? So just keep that in mind, guys, okay? The next thing that we're going to look at are what are your overall responsibilities as a driver. Now, this is not going to be all inclusive. We're just going to kind of touch on different areas, okay? But basically speaking is, what's your driving area look like? Do you have a clean front area? Do you have a trash bag of some sort to throw your trash in? Have you picked up the areas and thrown away all the old coffee cups, food wrappers, old paper towels, stuff like that? Where are you keeping your current load information? Is it in a folder by itself, or do you have everything scattered all across your, the dashboard? And speaking of that, what does your dashboard look like? Is it clean or is it all cluttered? Where are you keeping your truck information? Is it in a nice binder where everything's in its own individual slide pocket? So that when you are being asked for certain information, you can get to it very quickly. I mean, even if it's in the back, if it's in a binder, when you're pulling that information out and giving it to them, it's still more professional, where's your wallet? Or where are you keeping your driver's license if you're, carrying it in a purse or something or in a bag? How close is that at hand for where you need to be? The next thing is your dressing attire. Do you have professional clothes? Are you wearing flip-flops? Oh, no, 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 no. Are you wearing a shirt? And is that shirt appropriate? I mean, look at the pictures, guys. All of these shirts that these people are wearing, that's appropriate attire. You don't have to go overboard. You can wear regular clothes. Just know that you might get grease on it if it's a nice shirt. Okay. But basically speaking, if you don't wear it to a nice gathering, a casual outing, then don't wear it to drive. And absolutely, people, please, no pajamas, please. We don't need that type of way that people look at people that are wearing pajamas and flip-flops, And even if you are wearing pajama bottoms, when you stop to deliver or pick up your load, change into some clothes before you go into the office. You wouldn't believe the people that I saw, on a daily basis, wearing pajamas or flip-flops. Neither one of them are appropriate. Leave them where they need to be, inside your truck. Your bunk area. Let's talk about that. Your bunk area needs to be kept clean. You need to have your shoes picked up and put up. You need to make sure all of your insides, like your groceries, your documentation and stuff like that, that it's all put up and maintained in a well kept space. And the biggest thing, if an officer looks in your truck and your back curtains are open and they see your bed is unmade, guess what? Especially if you're in Rhode Island or Connecticut, I don't know how many times I would be eating dinner and I'd hear people complaining because they got a ticket because their bed was not made. You have to make your bed in the morning. And if you don't want to make it, at least fold the covers and put them at the foot. Do something so that it looks clean back there. Because anything that can be flown around, if you hit your brakes, if it's not secured, then you're liable to get hurt. And that's the reason why they want to make sure everything is in its place. The truck outside, truck and trailer. You need to wash it often, especially in dusty areas if you're pulling livestock or in the winter months. That salt gets all over everything. It's not just to maintain the body and the integrity of your truck, but also the overall look of it. You want to keep that looking nice because we're all trying to be professionals, right? When's the last time you've washed your motor? Wash your motor, steam clean it. Just take it to a car wash, or not a car wash, a truck wash. Get a sprayer, spray that motor down. It helps you find, the leaks, the loose hoses, the frayed wires, other things, the general things that you may miss during a pre-trip or a post-trip can be identified, when you're bending down to make sure that, you're looking underneath everything all the way. You might catch a leak, before it becomes a huge problem and get it fixed. Or you might catch your belt. I had a gentleman, that was parked next to me, and his fan belt went out. And I asked him, I said, well, when's the last time you did a tug test on your belt? Oh, never could give me an answer on it. And guess what? His belt broke. He was down for 3 days because it broke on Friday and he couldn't get another one until Monday, and he had to wait before they would come out and actually replace it in the parking lot. So just know that that's a possibility. Review some of the things that you got from this course. Remember, this is a condensed version of my big course that normally runs for $399 in its entirety. It goes over 3 days. This is just a 1-hour portion of it. We normally go into all of this a whole lot more, going over the details and stuff like that. But in this course, this free course, you now know what a CSA score is, how that CSA score will impact you and your bottom line. You know how to be prepared when you are brought in during an inspection, whether it's pulled over to the side of the road or whether you come in through a weigh station. You know what the Fourth Amendment means to you as a transportation business industry person, whether you are an owner or an operator. You also know how to act during a roadside inspection. You know how much information to give them and when to give it to them. We showed you how to take radical action to improve your business. If you're small-minded for your business, you're always going to have a small business. If you want to be a big business, you got to think like the big boys. Be willing to outsource and, take that action so that you can grow your business. The next thing that we addressed was we explained ways to have a great first impression, the big 3. We identified, lastly, some of your responsibilities as a driver in relation to a road inspection. The biggest thing is road inspections are part of our life as drivers, okay? It's to be expected. Expect the expected, be prepared, have a professional attitude, keep your space inside the truck clean as well as the outside, dress appropriately, and be professional. Those things, if you just, pay attention to those things, it's going to help you so much in getting past your roadside inspections. So lastly, I want to thank you again for watching our presentation today. Remember, you can subscribe for free for a limited time only to our free subscription updates. We are DOT FMCSA compliance specialists. We're located in Fresno, California. Our telephone number is 559-319-8464. The email is dotfmcsa@gmail.com. If you have any questions, please remember that you can comment below or you can contact us directly. As a reminder, this webinar is normally valued at $399 in its entirety, but for this time only, we condensed it down and took out some of our materials that we cover in more detail so that we could give you this webinar for free. Again, thank you for your time and attention. Please sign up for our update subscription list so that we can let you know of the new training webinars, employee handbooks, drug policy procedures, safety procedures, and maintenance program procedures that we can provide you with to help you keep compliant with the DOT and the FMCSA. Thank you again for watching. Again, my name is Linda Jenkins, and I'm glad to be able to help you be the company that you want you to be. Thank you guys, and y'all have a wonderful day.